Let's just jump right in. We're in a massive period of evolution right now, and one of the biggest pieces of that is we are moving out of the mental awareness system orientation of being a human. Okay, that is falling apart. And what I'll start with is, for the biggest challenge for me in my life has always been my mind. And even as I'm saying that out loud, like I'm recognizing that was a story of once what was, and that's not the story anymore. Important to make a distinction there. So my mind was always the thing that was the hardest for me to get a hold of. It was the thing that always seemed to be working against me. It was these constant barrage of thoughts and the ways that I saw myself. My self-concept was just ridiculously negative, and it was like the Wild West up there, right? The thoughts are coming in, they're going out. My brain is just constantly trying to interpret things based from my past. Really, the foundation that we're working with here from these mental constructs from childhood is I'm not okay. I'm not good enough. I'll never be as smart as them. I just don't get it. That's for other people, but not for me. I don't deserve it. I'm not worthy of it. Some variation of that, right? Like that is the thing that so many of us struggle with, because that is the imprint in the garden of our subconscious. And so when we're in the small self frame and something gets triggered, up from the subconscious comes that construct, and all of a sudden the thoughts and emotions that are tied to that foundational belief start to go on, and it pulls us in, and it becomes very challenging to differentiate yourself from who you are just right here and the story of what once was, and you being back in the character. The mastery here is starting to pull away from the identification as the character, the little you that had the thoughts of I'm not good enough, I'm not smart, I don't get it, I'm not worthy, right? Because it's a child, right? It's you as a child. That's what it is, 100%, right? Your subconscious is wide open. It's taking everything in. That's where the beliefs are forming. And think about this. It's like, and I've talked about this before. How brutal was that to live a lifetime, and especially as a child, where like you don't know how to talk to anyone about it. You're just trying to deal with it. And you just have constant cycling thoughts of not being good enough, being ugly, being not deserving or worthy, and feeling like you need to, be something that you're not just to get love, just to get accepted. Like that's intense for a child, and that is living within you now. You got to know that. You got to know that, right? Because if you get pulled into that and think it's you're in trouble. All right, so I'm gonna go down a list here, and these are things that are gonna help us evolve out of the mental awareness system. These are things that are pitfalls and things that you got to know, right? Because if you try to skip these things, it's going to be really challenging when you're starting to tell yourself, you know what? I'm choosing to live in a reality where my mind works for me. I'm choosing to live in a reality where I place my attention where I would like it to be, instead of it being placed by the triggers inside of me and then getting pulled into that emotional loop and playing that out again and again. All right, we're talking about freedom. Okay, so first of all, let's just get real about the brain for a second. All right, are you the brain? No. All right, cool. We got that out of the way. Your brain is an antenna. Okay, it's a receiver of information. So yeah, it's always scanning the environment, and it's making interpretations and meanings, and it's basing things on its past memory, and especially when there's emotional triggers going on, which is coming from the interpretation, then it starts to basically, that antenna starts to draw in more of the frequency that those thoughts are coming from and that the emotion is evoking. So the brain's just always doing that, right? It's predicting, it's trying to protect you. It's designed to do that. So step one with true mental mastery, and again, you can't skip this, okay? It's like we've got this brain. It's part of the human experience. It's amazing, but it requires us to learn these things, which we were not taught, okay? So if you can't learn to be the observer of your thoughts, are they even yours or are they just appearing? Because, again, your brain is an antenna, it's a receiver. It's taking in information from the entire environment. If you're with a bunch of people, you are 100% picking up on other people's thoughts and probably making them your own. Other people's lack, fears, doubts, all the things, right? You're perceiving it, your antenna's picking it up, and then you're making it about you. You're making it yours. Don't do that. We got to be the observer, right? And again, I'm talking about how to evolve beyond the mental awareness system. We got to become expert level observers so that we're not attaching to any thoughts. We're not attaching to the stories that are going on in the mind, okay? Yeah, so you got to be able to be a master of not attaching to the thoughts, observing them, and then bringing yourself back to the present moment. Being able to bring your awareness down to your heart, down into your body, take a few breaths, extend the exhale longer than the inhale. Boom, you're back in the present moment. You're just here. There's no story of you. There's no character. You're just here, okay? Now, this goes into you becoming the good shepherd. Why does the Bible always talk about things with shepherds? And sheep and flocks. Your mind is your sheep, right? So when your thoughts start wandering away from oneness, from wholeness, completeness, from this is where I choose to keep my attention, confidence, radiating love, whatever it is that you want to choose to keep your attention on that feels good for you, that feels in alignment for you, when a thought starts to wander away from that, from an environmental trigger or something somebody says in the outside world, you as the good shepherd brings that sheep back into the flock, which is peacefulness, which is alignment, which is where you choose to be. All right? There's no story, there's no, you observe the sheep wandering maybe into the lands of doubt, and you are a good shepherd and you bring the sheep back. You don't let it go out there and start getting eaten by the wolves of doubt and fear, right? Then your flock's going to get more scared and it's going to be on more on guard because there's not a responsible shepherd there taking care of things, okay? So, yeah, if you are identifying with a character at any level, it's going to suck. There's going to be pain, there's going to be suffering. Think about it. We think we're this ego mind that just it labels everything, it's judging everything, it's making meaning of everything. Do you ever get annoyed by this, like me, when people are like, it's cold, it's hot, it's sunny, right? You're just labeling the obvious shit. That's what the ego mind does. It walks into a room and it's like chair, table, picture, floor, carpet, and it just does that, right? Because it's like it's overactive, it's overstimulated. It's what I notice is when I'm not meditating and I'm not creating space, it starts doing that, and I'm like, and then that will reflect in my conversations, and I'm like, ugh, like no, and that's why when people, it's like no shit, it's cold. Yeah, I know, we all know it, right? It's like it's just a rampant ego that's like, I'm just gonna label things and say meaningless shit because that's what it does. But that's not you, right? So you can laugh at that when it's going on. You can laugh at it with other people, not judge them. Just be like, I know that. I do that too. Okay, let's move on. Yeah. So going back to earlier, if you're attaching to the thoughts, what's actually happening? All right, your thoughts are always vying for your attention. Everything comes from the realm of thought, right? Everything in existence, everything physical, all the things that we have here started off as a thought. They accumulated life force. It became crystallized. Boom. It was in physical form, but it started as a thought. So when we attach to thoughts, we start giving it life force. We start giving it our emotion. It starts to get electromagnetic because thoughts are electrical, emotions are magnetic. Those two come together. That's manifestation. That's your electromagnetic field that you're broadcasting to reality with. That's the field that the quantum realm is always scanning because you're one with it, and it's always reading it, and it's just drawing things in resonance to the information going on in that field. So if you're attaching to thoughts of doubt, lack, scarcity, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, whatever limitation that's been going, I don't care if it's been going on for 15, 20 years, it gets to be let go of right now, because you actually, on a logical level even, understand, oh, I'm creating this. I'm the one attaching to those thoughts, giving them life force. It's putting it in my electromagnetic field. The quantum field reads my field, and then it just gives me that, what's in resonance with that. So no wonder I'm seeing out here what's been put into my electromagnetic field. Like that becomes very obvious, right? And to let go of those attachments, for me, it becomes a lot easier when you're meditating, when you're slowing down intentionally your brain waves. Okay, that is, and as I've said before, that's a requisite for the time that we're living in. Okay, so if you can't train yourself to stop attaching to those, you're kind of fucked, right? So I had to do this. I had literally the most negative self-talk that you could imagine. I hated myself. I was so locked into the character and so fixated on the perceived flaws and the things that I thought were wrong with me, and in this like performative place of trying to be something that I wasn't, that I just had this revolving like record player of negativity in my mind. And again, it makes me emotional every time, because it's like, damn, a fourth grade kid, a middle school kid, like that's a really tough place to be. And you're just locked into that. You don't know anything beyond it. It becomes normal. And then, thank God that we're reaching this point of evolution where we're coming away from that. We're realizing we never were that. And this journey is not personal. It's very impersonal. It's law, it's frequency, it's energy, and you're not the character, right? That's very liberating, to not hold it as just a concept, but to actually put it in practice, to actually like show up for yourself, and to be able to look in the mirror and say, yo, you are beautiful. Life is in love with you. Everything works out for me. This is a magical day of synchronicities. I'm surrounded by awesome people who love me for me. I'm having so much fun. I am living a life that is just awesome and filled with fulfillment, and I'm doing the things that I love. I'm being of service. I'm walking in alignment. I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling myself. When you start to show up for yourself in that way, everything starts to shift, because your world, right? That internal dialogue is what's programming your field, and that's the experiences that you're having. It's it's scientific. There's nothing spiritual about it. That's just the way that it is. The conviction, the way that you know yourself, the way that you speak to yourself is everything, right? Self-esteem, doesn't sell, so people don't talk about it, but it's everything. It's the way that you feel about yourself. It's your attitude towards yourself and towards life. And if you're not clear what that is, and your unconscious shit is running that, your childhood stuff is running that, that's what's going into your electromagnetic field, you're screwed, because you're locked into reality that is being broadcast from when you were 5, from the I'm not okay. And then your reticular activation system, which filters out all of reality, all of the infinite possibilities, all the things, the millions of bits of information going on, it condenses all of that to focus on the thing that you're usually putting your attention on, which is tied to the story of who you were, okay? Which is why you have to train your mind. You hear this analogy a million times. When you're getting a new car, or when you do buy a new car, all of a sudden you're seeing it everywhere else. When you start to, let's just take money for example. If you've been lacking it, if you've had a story around it, if you've been in this place of scarcity for a long time, your reticular activation system, it's not good or bad. It's just going to look for things that reinforce that narrative that's been going on within you. Money is this. I don't know how to make it. It's really hard. It's a struggle. It's just finding evidence for more of that. That's all that's happening, right? It's not this emotional, like, for 20 years I've been this and my dad did this so that I'm this way. Like, victimhood, victimhood, victimhood. No, you just didn't know how it worked, and I didn't either. And so then when you realize that the outer circumstances become obsolete, because it's like, oh, that was a creation from when I was unconscious and I didn't know who I was. Right now there's no story. There's no it's me, I suck at this. I don't know how to do this. What's wrong with me? Can you see this? Can you see how that is the things that are going on underneath the surface that are continuing the same shit? That's it. And when you realize that that's it, you can let it go very quickly. And then that starts to make way for you as the creator, okay? So to me, and I'm not the only one to think this, many of the most brilliant people of our time have known this. When you get pulled back into the character, the identification of you as the body and your name and all the shit that's happened before, you're sinning. You're sinning. Oh, sinful you. I'm not talking about religion. I'm not talking about the things the priest told you. Sinning simply means to miss the mark. It's a Greek term used for archery. And it simply means that you are going to be subjected to the experience and the consequence of missing the mark. When you come out of the now awareness, you just hear your attention and you go into the character. You're subjected to the negative feelings. You're subjected to the limitations. You're subjected to all the shit from your past that ever hurt you. The story of who you've told yourself to be, all of that is now in play. And that's where we're evolving out of, right? You're back into the narrator in your head. You're back into all the reasons why you can't. You're back into the imposter syndrome. You're back into whatever the thing is that's causing the pain. And this just simply becomes a practice of, again, being the good shepherd, pulling yourself out, bringing your sheep back when it starts to go into the doubt land, fear land, not enough land. And there's a sense of kind of like a shepherd too, right? It's like you're a little bit protective. Like for me, I really got into the conviction of the thoughts that were negative towards myself. When I really started to do this work, I was like, that's not allowed here. And it was like a good parent. It was like a convicted parent of like, that's not allowed to happen here anymore. Like that child that had to live through that and was locked into that for years and years and years. I'm here now and I got you. And those wolves that try to get in, or when the sheep wanders away, no. Now I'm here, right? That is your higher self. That is the soul within you, the divine unconditional love. That's like, I'm so sorry you had to be in the experience of that for as long as you did, but now I'm here. And every time that you speak to yourself in that way, that you encourage yourself, that you show up for you, and you start to build your self-esteem, you start to hold the attention on the places that are correct for you, that expand you, that help you remember who you are. That's when everything shifts. That's when your electromagnetic field is now broadcasting something much different. It's broadcasting unconditional love. It's broadcasting new possibility. It's broadcasting confidence. It's broadcasting, I believe in myself. I am okay. I always was okay. I always was worthy. I choose myself, therefore I'm chosen. When your field is broadcasting that, everything shifts. Right? Now that shadow, which again is always you as a child, shows up, it's got light. There's light there to greet it. The truth is there to greet it. And it doesn't have to stay lost in the dark anymore. That's what's happening here, folks. You are source, here and now, and you got to practice it. Right? These pitfalls that I talked about, Psycho-Cybernetics is such a great book on this. If you wanna really dive in deep, Psycho-Cybernetics is just saying like, hey, look, your mind is actually beautiful, and it's a success mechanism, but you have to give it the correct coordinates, which is your attention. You have to keep your attention on the thing that you're desiring, on the you that you want to be, and then you have the RAS flip, where your filter starts to look for that instead of the things to watch out for, instead of the things that you're fearful of, instead of all the reasons why your life is this way. Instead of that, it starts to become your best ally, and it starts to think new thoughts that are in support of projects that you're creating, things that you want to bring to life. And I this really hit me when I was doing stand-up comedy, because I was like, all right, I need to find, and I'm writing jokes. I'm like, I need to find what's funny. And then in my day-to-day, the more I was writing and looking for it, I would start to see hilarious things everywhere. It was like I bought the new car and I'm seeing it all over the place. Now I'm seeing the jokes everywhere. I'm seeing the funny everywhere, right? Because my attention was on looking for the funny. And there's no difference between that and looking for the abundance, looking for the prosperity, looking for all of the incredible things that are already surrounding you. Returning to the breath, coming back to the present moment, okay? That's what I wanted to share, guys. If this speaks to you, come on in. I've got a new school community. It's called Top Floor Souls. And oh my goodness, it's why I'm here. I absolutely love it. We do this as a community. We amplify our energies. Nothing is more powerful, all right? There's so much to learn. There's so much good stuff in there, and I'm just continuously creating. We're doing calls. And also, too, if it speaks to you on a more intimate level and a very intentional level, I've got a group program starting called the Freedom Framework. And this is the conglomeration of all my 7 years of transformational coaching, leading retreats, mental mastery, all of these things condensed into this program, into modules that are going to help you remember who you are. They're going to help you be the creator again of your experience. Okay? I am off. I'm getting on a plane. I'm going to San Francisco to do some really cool things that I will share with you on the other side. I love you guys. And just remember, like, you're entering a time where your mind is working for you. All right? Your heart's leading the way, your inner feminine, your imagination. You got your inner child on your shoulders, and you're creating in the now moment. All right. Peace out.